I'm going to be using chair and blocks both. You might want to grab if you have that around available to you. It'll help because we're going to be focusing on sun salutations, sun salutation 2 today. And the theme is basically make it yours. So we're going to use props uh, to help you make this practice yours. And we're going to start just by sitting in an easy, comfortable position. If you'd like to sit on a block to lift you up a little bit, you're welcome to do that. Just kind of notice where you are. Use your senses to bring awareness to the space that you're in. Notice the weight of your body on whatever you're sitting on. Notice sounds. And notice the sensation of your breath, temperature, small movements in your body. Oh, I'm going to let someone in. And then let's start just to move. Basically, add a little bit of a sway, a shoulder sway, to get your body to just kind of wake up a little bit. And then we're going to do a side bend. I recommend a hand down. I'm going to go this way. So my hand is extended, palm up to bring it overhead. And then I'm going to slowly come back up to vertical, vertebra by vertebra, and then just kind of flow into a little bit of a side bend back and forth, like you're blowing in the wind or a giant piece of um, kelp. Add whatever breath pattern feels good to you. And come back up to vertical and stillness, and then switch sides. So whatever slide you went to last time, come on into the other one. And bring it overhead. Slowly come back up to vertical, vertebra by vertebra, and add a little bit of a blowing in the wind or being drifted along the current kind of a feel. When you're ready, come back up to stillness, and we're going to add a forward bend or ripple from here. So almost like child's pose. Just kind of lean forward, walk yourself forward until you can't go anymore. Some of you are going to be flattened on the ground. If you're not, you might grab a block or fist your hands to give your head a little bit of a prop. Breathe. And then come on back up to vertical, vertebra vertebra, with your head being the last thing to come up. And then let's add a little bit of ripple in a forward bend kind of situation. Go forward as far as you want and kind of do what feels good for your spine. Use the breath pattern that feels good for you. And come back up to vertical, and we're going to twist from here. So one hand behind, one in front or on your knee. Inhale tall, look behind you and try to twist throughout your entire spine. And once you've gotten to the extent of your twist, stay twisted, but then shake your head in a node left to right, just that full extent, and see that independence of your neck. Release and switch sides. So inhale tall, exhale, look behind you, and when you've gotten to the extent of your twist, then shake your head no. And come back to neutral. Notice for a second a little bit of warming up feels like in your body right now. And then go ahead and come into child's pose, whichever child's pose is right for you, using whatever supports that feels good for you. And recheck in with those things that you noticed when you first sat down for our practice. So your connection with the ground, sounds, smells, temperature, and the sensation of your breath. And then come up to vertical on your spine. And let's go into tabletop. So all fours, stack everything like you know it should be stacked. Kind of allow a little bit of space in the palm of your hand by gripping with all of your fingers. Maybe do a sway from here, whatever movement feels good in your body right now. Experiment with different patterns of movement. And then come to neutral, and we'll all together do scapular push-ups, because to remind us of what that sense of strength feels like. And then reach your table forward a little bit and rock back to puppy. So it's like downward dog from your knees a little bit. And maybe have a little bit of dip of your shoulders to stretch out your sides. And come back up to vertical, and then, or well, tabletop, and then stand on your knees, and we're gonna go into a low lunge. Excuse me real quick. Shoot. Okay, so I'm gonna start with my right leg forward. I guess usually and let's try just bending towards like a side bend, leaning towards the bent knee, towards my right side, and feel the stretch along your whole side body. If you need something under your knee, grab it to make it a little bit more comfortable, possibly. And then let's add some arm movements. I'm going to horizontal circles with my left arm, like I'm lassoing this. And then I'm going to big circles, vertical circles with my left arm. And having that, you can allow your torso to follow your arm almost into a little bit of a twist. And then rock back in a little bit of a balance pose onto your right heel for a hamstring stretch in a balance. And depending on how flexible you are and how tight your hamstrings and your calf are, if you feels good to bend forward, you're welcome to do that. But try to challenge yourself to remain in a little bit of a balance. And then come back into that sort of lunge position or whatever you want to call it. And then we're going to put our left hand down next, under like it would be like tabletop again, parallel to my right ankle, and then bring my right arm to the sky for a twist. So pushing out so I'm not crumpled into my left shoulder. And if you want to, flap that arm back and forth, your right arm back and forth a little bit to accentuate that twist. And then before we come up from here, let your right knee flop out to the side and rock back a teeny bit, and maybe feel it in your the inside of your thigh or in your waist or in the hip. So if I comes forward, it looks I let my knee drop and then rock back. And then come on up to vertical, stand on your knees again and switch sides. And I'm going to let somebody in. Oh, Danica fell out. Okay, so left knee forward. Just kind of settle into your lunge, whatever extent you need. Uh oh. And then try bending over toward your left side. And feel a stretch in your waist, maybe your hip flexor, your side body. And then start lassoing the ceiling, so horizontal circles. And vertical circles. And allow your torso to follow your arms movement if that feels good. Then go ahead and stop circling and straighten your left leg to balance on your left heel, and either stay with your torso vertical for a hamstring stretch and calf stretch, or you can bend forward as what is comfortable for you and your body. Go ahead and come back into the lunge shape. Put your right hand on the ground parallel to your left ankle and push your your left arm to the sky into a T shape for a twist. And breathe. And if you feel like it, add a little bit of a flap of your blowing in the breeze, help movement of your left arm. And then allow your left knee to flop out towards the left of your body and rock back and see where your stretch is. It might be a different spot than it was on the right side. And then come on out, back up to standing tall on your knees, and then flex your feet so your toes are propped up and sit back on your toes as much as you can and stretch out the tops of your feet. This can be a very challenging, painful position. We don't have a lot of opportunity to stretch out the bottoms of our feet. So if it's too much, come out of it somewhat, right? Or maybe your body can't come back down that low. That's fine. Then come back into tabletop, but a little bit wider tabletop, and pop up on those toes for a weird down dog with a super strong bend in your knees, and maybe shift your weight from left to right. And then come on down and come on to your bellies for a cobra. And I'm going to let someone in. Okay. So we've had a bunch of forward and side bends so far, so let's do a back bend. When you're ready, peel your chest, shoulders, face off the ground, and maybe even do a rock back and forth from here and stretch out your belly, ribs. Don't forget to breathe. Come on down and rock back into down dog from here. Again, you're welcome to have a nice bend in your knees, heels way off the ground because we're trying to have length in our spine, pop in the booty. You're welcome to shift your weight from left to right. Let your head dangle. Then we're going to walk hands back to our feet for forward fold. Breathe, let your head dangle. Think about internally rotating both of your thighs. Maybe shake your head to allow your neck to release a little bit. And then vertebra by vertebra, come up to standing. I thought somebody was trying to get in. All right. So we're going to start to move into practicing sun salutation 2. And the very first pose of sun salutation 2 is chair pose. So check in with your mountain. And when you're ready, it's basically a squat. We're going to stick our butts out, keeping our shins almost vertical and sitting back into a squat, and go ahead and stand up. If you want to add arms as you squat back, arc your arms up next to your ears and stand. One more. Stand. And the next one we'll move on to a forward fold. So from chair, forward fold, let your head dangle, breathe. Then on your next inhale, come to half forward fold, where your torso is approximately parallel to the ground. Keep breathing. And then come on down through tabletop to plank on your knees. Shift forward, lower down onto your belly again. Inhale, cobra for just one breath, and stay on your knees and rock back for puppy. This one we're going to do on our knees, the whole sun salutation. So bring your torso back up to vertical. Bring your right leg forward and arms up next to your ears, externally rotated both of your palms so they're facing each other. And then back down to a wide tabletop for plank. Shift forward, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, puppy. Bring your torso back up to vertical, left leg forward. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, a wide plank or wide tabletop. Shift forward, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, puppy. Shift forward. And come back into tabletop, which is our equivalent of a half forward fold from our knees. Exhale, bring your head down towards the ground for our equivalent of forward fold. And then stand up on your knees and shift back into chair and then stand up into mountain. So sun salutation 2 from your knees. We're going to do it again from standing. So I'm going to come back into basically forward fold and come ragdoll back up to standing. And we're going to try again from the back of my mat in more of a standing position. So your next inhale, chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, come on down for plank. Shift forward, lower down onto your belly. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. The next move is the cue is often bring your right leg in between your hands. And for a lot of us, that seems like a crazy instruction. So I want to review how all your different options for getting your right leg up where it's supposed to be for a lunge position. Because right now, a lot of people just go, well, come on, Miss Crump, that's if I do that, that's as far as my leg's gonna go. I've got a belly, nothing's gonna happen. And you don't want to come in up to vertical like this because our shin isn't or you don't want to come up off of your hands like this because your shin's not vertical and you're putting a lot of unnecessary stress on your knee. So you don't want to do that. One of the options that helps people is to lift their leg up to the sky and then shift almost to a plank position as they come forward. And that helps sometimes people bring their leg up closer to their hand. So almost like a going from a down dog position to almost a plank position. Gives your knee more motion. Well, sometimes that doesn't work for people either. A lot of times there's too much going on in here. My shin's too long, it doesn't really work. So you can swing your leg out to the outside of your hands, and then you don't have nearly as much stuff to interfere with. So if I do that with my left leg, it looks I'm just swinging it out outside of my hands, and then I can come, switch hands or whatever. For years, what I've done is bring it up, but I either lift my right hand or have my knee bent out a little bit, which is okay because when I come on up, my shin can be vertical. Another really helpful thing is to use blocks to make your arms longer. It also takes care of some of that wrist pain if you're having wrist pain. You can let your fingers dangle over the edges or grip the block, whatever is more comfortable for you. And then since my arms are longer, it's a lot easier to get that motion to bring my leg forward. And then the last option is come down onto your knees, bring your leg forward, and then come on up is the last option. So these are all options to get your foot in between your hands, which is the instruction often, because you go from down dog directly into warrior one. So from down dog, pick which way feels good for you. Bring your leg forward, drop the back foot, inhale, warrior one. Yay. Exhale, go immediately into plank. Shift forward, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Then left leg forward using whatever technique makes sense for you. Drop the back foot, rise up, warrior one. Exhale, plank immediately. Shift forward, lower down for your yoga push-up. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Walk your hands back for forward fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair. Exhale, mountain. Let's try again. This time I'm going to use a chair as my prop. And I'll use the chair as the floor. Perfectly great way to do a sun salutation. Okay. I'm going to keep my hands basically here the whole time. Okay, so feeling like I got a good distance. I think so. Okay. On my next inhale, chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, I step back for plank, shift forward. When I'm using my chair, the only thing I don't do is actually lower down. Inhale, cobra. Maybe some of you guys have strong bicep, what are those, triceps that you can do that. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg forward, drop the back foot. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, plank, shift forward, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg forward, drop the back foot. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, plank, shift forward, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. This is where we do a couple recovery breaths sometimes. On your next inhale, come to half forward fold. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair. Exhale, mountain. So, same sequence, using a chair as your support or prop. You never have to come down. I'm going to do it again uh, using blocks. And you just pick whichever one is right for you, or you try all these different ones, or whatever one your body feels comfortable with doing. If you use blocks, your blocks become the ground. Actually, I'll start back here using them. When you're ready, inhale, chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, plank, shift forward, lower down. When you're using blocks, the blocks are your floor. You don't drop your chest in between your hands. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg forward, drop the back foot, warrior one. Exhale, plank, shift forward, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left leg forward, drop the back foot. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, plank, shift forward, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Couple recovery breaths. On your next inhale, come to half forward fold. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair. Exhale, mountain. I bet you're starting to feel a little warmer at this point. We're going to try the most vigorous option, and instead of starting at the back of the mat, we're going to start at the front, and it involves a little bit of jumping. And you shouldn't be afraid of jumping. It's your body can do it. Just as if you're feeling like it and want to exude that kind of energy. So I'm gonna move that out of the way. Okay. So on your next, or repeat one of the other ones, right? Whatever one you like. We're almost, and this will have two more. So inhale, chair. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, bend your knees, plant your hands, and then shoot your heels back for plank. Shift forward, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg forward, drop the back foot, rise for warrior one. Exhale, plank, shift forward, lower down. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog if you have that in your practice. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg forward, drop the back foot, warrior one big giant breath. Exhale, plank, shift forward, lower down, one giant breath. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. A couple of recovery breaths. On your next inhale, jump your feet forward for half forward fold. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair. Exhale, mountain. Awesome. We're going to do one more, this time sitting in a chair. I'm going to use a wall as my floor. You can do a wall as your floor from standing, but you can also do it from sitting. When I do warrior, oh, hands like in straight out in front of you with palms on the wall is a good measurement for how far away to be. And warrior one just looks like bringing my foot back, leaving my front foot angled, coming up like that, because I'm not sure you're going to be able to see that when we get there. All right, so check in with your mountain. And on your next inhale, chair. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, plank, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg forward. Warrior one. Exhale, plank, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg forward. Warrior one. Exhale, plank, shift forward, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Couple recovery breaths here. On your next inhale, come forward for half forward fold. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair. Exhale, mountain. Awesome. That was our last one. We're ready to come on down to the ground. So whatever way is comfortable for you, just kind of come down and come back to easy pose like we started class with. And let's repeat our little shoulder sway. And then we'll go back into our wind-driven side bend. And just a little bit of flow, following your own breath pattern. Talk about yoga. The breath is the music and the movement is the dance. Let's switch sides. Come back up to vertical and let's do a couple forward bend ripples. Whatever feels fun and good for you. And come back up to vertical. Let's do our twist again. Add a couple of shakes of your head, no. And switch sides. And then let's go ahead and lie on your backs. And for bridge, let's use an arm arc with our lift of the pelvis. So inhale, lift your pelvis, lift your arms up overhead, and exhale, let them drop. Inhale, lift arms and hips. Exhale, drop. And one more lift. Exhale, drop. And then, actually, let's inhale, arms overhead, and then roll over onto your side. Pillow your head on your arm, and then go ahead and grab your quad, your foot, so you can do a quad stretch. Just sort of just grab whatever way is comfortable. And then shift your grip so that your palm of your hand is on the arch of your foot, your thumb on your big toe, and push your hand into your foot and your foot into your hand for a half bow on your side. Go ahead and release and switch sides. You can just roll over to the other side. I'm going to flip this way so that my still on the camera. Pillow your head, grab your other quad or other foot so that you can stretch your quad. Breathe for a couple breaths. Then shift your grip so that your palm of your hand is on the arch of your foot and your thumb is on your big toe. And then press your foot into your hand and your hand into your foot for half bow. Keep breathing. Go ahead and release. Come on to your back. Grab the tops of your knees for self massage. And then keep holding on to your right knee. Let the left leg straighten onto the ground and bring your knee in as close as is comfortable. And then take the right knee over your entire torso until your right knee is on the ground on your left side. And then open your shoulder towards the ground behind you, your, so that you're in a twist. Bring both knees up to vertical, a little self massage. And then keep holding on to your left knee, straighten your right leg. And then take your left knee over your entire body until it hits the ground on the right hand side. And then open your left shoulder towards the ground behind you. And breathe. And then Bring both knees back up to vertical. Final little self massage. Maybe give yourself a hug and find your favorite Shavasana position. And I'm going to sit up. So, in a typical vinyasa yoga class or a yoga flow class, it will be filled with sun salutations of various kinds, right? Definitely sun salutations 1 and 2 are in pretty much every flow class that you'll go to. But your sun salutation 1 and 2 doesn't have to look like the other people's in the room. You need to make these practices yours, adapt them so that it feels right and healthy and healing for your own body. It's the moving meditation that's important. And you never have to go to a yoga class. When we talk about making it yours, the sun salutations are a very simple pattern that you can repeat and know that you're doing yoga right. Doing yoga right is the one kind that makes you drop into that moving meditation space, linking breath with movement. And it's about the sense of the poses, whether yours looks identical to someone else's is irrelevant. It needs to feel good in your body. And then remember that yoga is union of opposites, and a lot of those are strength and flexibility for a yoga practice, a moving meditation practice, and try to challenge yourself so that you can grow. For the rest of our Shavasana, do whatever feels good for you right now. Maybe focus on your breathing, maybe take a nap, maybe do a body scan or a safe space meditation or loving kindness meditation. What would help you? Start to lengthen your breathing. Maybe wiggle fingers and toes. Maybe wrist circles or ankle circles. Maybe a stretch. Gently and kindly bring yourself back up to sitting. May the inner light in you reflect the inner light in me. Namaste, everybody.